Hey, Phil Valentine with you. 1-800-618-PHIL if you'd like to pile in and chat with Tom Tancredo, who's going to be with us for a few minutes. So if you'd like to chat with him, this is Congressman Tom Tancredo from Colorado, who has been a champion in fighting the illegal immigration problem. Big day for him, and he's actually launching this officially on talk radio, and Tom Tancredo is on the line with us. Congressman, how are you?
I'm just great. It's terrific to be with you. Thank you very much. And yes, we are launching it.
Good.
And doing so on talk radio, because talk radio has been the real backbone of this whole movement for you. You know, I've done over 1,800 talk radio shows since I've been in Congress, and I'm convinced that it has helped move this issue, the issue of illegal immigration, of course, to the forefront. And so I couldn't think of a better way to do this than just a wall-to-wall talk radio day.
Yeah, and that's what that's been our big issue too. We've been trying to get you on for 4 months, so this is a great day.
Maybe we were just maybe we're just holding you off for this day.
That's right, for the big day, for the big crescendo. Yeah, we'll talk to Carlos about that.
Talk to Carlos.
Yeah. So you said, and when we talked to you, I guess about a year or so ago. And you and I met at a meeting in Tennessee, and then you were nice enough to send a letter for our town hall meeting that we had about immigration too.
Oh, I recall. Yeah.
This is a big deal all across America, and it looks like that people like John McCain who have been in Iowa, and they're just now saying, "Hey, this is a big issue." You've known that for a long time. Why are these people? Is it because they're in Washington D.C. and they're sequestered up there? They don't understand what's going on?
Sure. They listen. Who do you listen to? I mean, when you're not out talking to the people, and you're not doing 1,800 talk radio shows, and listening to people call in, and listening to the host talk about the fact that every time you bring up the subject, the board lights up. If you don't do that, then only people you hear from are corporate interests. You know, it's the U.S. Chamber of Commerce who's knocking at your door saying now, or the president who's telling you, listen, we can't do anything that would harm the potential political segment that we'd get here. And of course, none of this is accurate. We certainly, when you look at what's happened across the country, and you look at when people voted in this last election, we lost a lot of seats, and we lost control. And people go, well, gee, it's because they were big on immigration. No, it's because we weren't big on immigration.
That's
because
right.
We ran from it. And
what the Senate did was absolutely shameful last year.
Totally. And so they do not get it, but they're beginning to. You're absolutely right. And honestly, I'm not kidding you. It is talk radio that has given me a megaphone and that has pushed this issue. People hear from their constituents. And, John McCain was out here and saying, what is going on? He gave an article he gave an interview, to, I think it was Vanity Fair, and he said, they asked him kept asking him about the fence, and he was saying, no, there's no fence, they won't work, it's no good. And he said, all right, if they want a expletive fence, I'll give it to them, But it goes to show you that
begrudgingly.
Yeah, exactly, and it's only because these unwashed masses, they don't really understand it. But if they're going to push it, okay, we'll put up a fence. No, we need a fence. We need a fence on our southern border. We need one eventually on the northern border. We need to keep people out who we don't want in, and we also need it because you want to recognize the fact that that's where one nation ends and another one begins. I like the idea of borders. These guys don't. The president is honestly, I believe now, after all these years of fighting this out with him, I believe he's just simply a guy that looks at borders and says, it's really not all that significant. And we're going to...
borders, we don't need it.
Be a big trade bloc. We're going to have Mexico, Canada. We'll have something that is... they actually refer to, by the way, in a bill that the president is working on as a common defense perimeter for these three countries. Common defense perimeter.
Right, like we're all going to be one big happy company, like the North American Union.
That's exactly right.
And we got Congressman. We're talking with Congressman Tom Tancredo was announced today he's officially in as president because you told us a year ago that if nobody else really picks up this issue, you're going to have to jump in, and nobody's really picked up this issue, so you've jumped in, which I think is great. We were talking with some of our listeners at one of our affiliates in Northwest Arkansas. And their problem there, I got several calls on this and then some emails afterwards thanking us for, they said nobody on talk radios that they're talking about because they're afraid to upset the apple cart of the big Tyson and Walmart and all these big corporations that are pulling these people in there. How do you fight that kind of force, like the big money and the big corporations who want to keep this gravy train rolling?
Well, really, I hate to keep going back to it, but it is the truth. The only way we have gotten to where we are today is because of talk radio. Guys like you who have been willing to talk about this. Because when you go on talk radio, you are talking to America. You're unfiltered. You get more than 30 seconds to state a message. People respond to that. They will start calling their elected officials. And, I think what happens is that you sort of give people who listen to you, you give them permission to talk about it in a way in their own minds, if you know what I mean.
Right. Oh, yeah. They think, well, he thinks like I do, so we can talk about it.
Yeah, and it's okay. This guy really isn't a racist and not a xenophobe and not all the things that people are called for talking about it. No, he's just worried about the country. Everybody in this country, including black people, brown people, white people. I'm worried about American citizens. I want America to stay America. I am sick to my stomach with the cult of multiculturalism constantly putting us down. I will never apologize for America. We are the best hope for this world, and yet we seem to have this, a certain segment of our population has a death wish. I mean, for America, the kind of America you and I know, they have a completely different idea about who we are. It's, to them, we're just people on the North American continent. We're not separated by borders. There's nothing unique about us. All cultures are the same. I mean, even the war against radical Islam, to them, to a lot of them, it's a war against, they don't like even saying that. They like saying, well, it's like a police action. If somebody crashes planes in your building, go find the people responsible, arrest them.
Yeah, it's like a murder scene.
Yeah, that's right. And no, this is much bigger than that. But they don't want to say it because, of course, you're talking about something that makes them very uncomfortable, and that is different culture that is a threat to ours. And immigration. The fact that millions of people are coming to this country who don't want to assimilate, this is a huge, huge problem. We are balkanizing America. Do you know that in the Time magazine, not too long ago, I read an article, and it was quoting a guy who is, they identified as head of an immigrant community there, mostly Cuban, I think. And it said the reason he loved Miami is because it's a city in which you never have to feel any pressure to be an American.
Right. You can be whoever you were when you came instead of melting into the melting pot.
That's right. You keep your language, you keep your culture, you keep everything, and there's no pressure to be an American. And, I got into a big flap because I said Miami was like a third world country, and it is. When people like that can say that, and the governor then at the time, another Bush, I seem to get into trouble with
the bushes, you can stay out in the bushes, as Jesse Jackson said.
He wrote me a letter and he said, here we really celebrate diversity. And I said, well, celebrating diversity is great. Making it a national religion is not. We cannot have a country that has where the most significant principle that you have that's supposed to hold you together is diversity.
Right.
That's oxymoronic thought.
You have a website set up, I assume, where people can go and find out more, right?
Yes, sir. It is teamtancredo.org or .com.
Team Tancredo.
Team Tancredo.
That's Tancredo.
That's right, Tancredo.
Okay.
As I said, they got them both for me because they knew that I couldn't remember ever. So I always gave out the wrong one, so they gave them both. They got them both.
Well, good luck to you, Congressman, and we wish
sir.
you the best, and glad to finally get you on, and hopefully this is the first of many times between now and the election day.
I hope so, and I apologize for not having. I didn't know about this.
Well, that's quite all right.
Talk to Carlos.
Yeah, we'll talk to Carlos. We're going to have to flog Carlos a few times, but we'll get him going. All right, Tom, thank you very much. Always good to hear from you.
Bye.